Hello there, my name is Snowspawn and today I'm going to be going over my Murderswarm Moze build. Murderswarm Moze is a grenade build for Moze that makes use of the Cloning Maddening Tracker to brute force Mindsweeper RNG into causing colossal damage chains. While this build was a possibility in the past, recent additions to the game, namely the Guardian Angel, have given this build the boost in viability that it needs to become one of the most powerful builds in the game. Before I get into the gear and stuff, I'm just going to go ahead and play a short little kill montage to show off what this build is capable of. I hope you enjoyed.
I will say something funny.
Alright, I hope you enjoyed that little kill montage. Now, let's get into the gear. Once again, only favorited items are required to make this build work. Everything else is optional support stuff. The main gun that I'm going to be using for this build is a URAD Guardian Angel. Now, the thing about the Guardian Angel is that when you're holding it, and you happen to be about 20 meters away from your enemies, all damage that you deal, be it grenades, like action skill, gun damage, anything, gets a boost of 400%, which is, well, absolutely insane. I have a melee terror face puncher here, just in case you want to use the Vindicator Ghast Call that I have. The Vindicator Ghast Call isn't all that great, I feel. You're gonna get more damage out of the Cloning Maddening Tracker. For the shields, we're going to be using a action skill start Revolter because the Revolter gives 200% bonus shock damage when it's depleted, and you can use action skill start in order to prevent yourself from dying whenever you want to get, some damage. The grenade, of course, is going to be the Cloning Maddening Tracker. Now, this one has action skill and corrosive on it because, well, all of the bonus elements that I currently have don't really do all that great against armor, so I've decided to just have this be the primary grenade, or primary element for this grenade to have. I do have other variants such as action skill active and grenade thrown, but overall you're going to be getting more damage out of this. Here's the class mod. We're going to be using a Mindsweeper with grenade damage and grenade radius passives. The skill split doesn't really matter so long as you don't get redistribution, because redistribution just really isn't needed. It's not going to cause you anything negative, but it's just not necessary and would be a waste of a slot. For the artifact, we're going to be primarily using an Atom Bomb Deathless, with mag size and area of effect damage. The area of effect damage is the only real thing that really matters here because that boosts splash. Also, the Atom Bomb part of it is pretty nice. Honestly, you don't need it to be deathless. You can have, you can have it be Victory Rush for the suffix or whatever, just as long as it gives a good splash damage or just bonus damage in general, it's okay. You can actually use a Flesh Melter if you'd like as well. That's it for the main gear. I also have a couple Mad Caps as well as a Big Boom Blaster on here, just in case you want to use either of those instead, but you're going to be getting more damage out of the Revolter. As I said, I also have other variants of the Cloning Maddening Tracker. I also have a couple Merv clusterfuck exploders that you might want to use, because those are just cool. I also have a epicenter here, as well as a couple porcelain pipe bombs, and of course the Vindicator gas call. The skill trees are going to be pretty standard, just going to be, you know, maxing out Fire in the Skag Den, of course maxing out Means of Destruction so that we can have, you know, more grenade regen. Pull the Holy Pin, of course, just because we need to be able to proc Mindsweeper. Torg cross promotion because splash damage and radius is fun. Auto Bear is for delaying action skill cooldown. Vampire is just in case you want to take off the Deathless and use something else. Why can't I carry all these grenades? It's pretty obvious why I have this. To the last is just nice, pretty good. It's nice because you get to actually have fight for your life damage with this build, which is awesome. Short fuse, I don't actually know why I have this spec. I don't know if it does anything, and I'm honestly too lazy to test it, but honestly, you can't really... It doesn't hurt to have spec, I guess, just in case you need to do a little bit of gun damage. We also have 3 out of 3 on Thin Red Line, because that means that I get to use URAD even without a Deathless, which is nice because that opens up more options for artifacts. Also, Phalanx Doctrine, really nice survivability boost, just overall great stuff. One of my favorite skills in the game. Gonna have Stoke the Embers just for that bonus incendiary damage, it's just nice. And then, of course, Big Surplus, because once you get out of Iron Bear with this, you get your ASEs, you get your frickin' Revolter, and you get Big Surplus, which is a lot of mayhem scaling. Now, for the Guardian skill tree, you're gonna wanna have everything enabled except for topped off so that you can maximize the cooldown time for Iron Bear, because you don't actually want it to be cooling down super fast. Now, this build does actually make use of mayhem mode, mostly because of More Than Okay Boomer, Freeze Tag, Laser Fair, and Postmortem is just there, kind of. More Than Okay Boomer, that's pretty obvious. It's just free damage and grenades. But Laser Fair is a pretty nice thing, because the Cloning Maddening Tracker grenade things home in on Laser Fair, and they can also proc Pull the Holy Pin, and then that can, in turn, proc Mindsweeper, and then you can just get a whole bunch of damage. Same deal with Freeze Tag, same deal with Postmortem. Now, one thing to note in regards to this build is that if you have good enough RNG, the damage potential of this build is effectively infinite. But, like I said, you're going to need to have good RNG, so I'm going to go ahead and show you the reason why RNG makes this build good, and also just other stuff like that. Showing on screen right now should be the damage formula for the Minesweeper grenades. Now you can see that it takes the triggering crit damage and then applies splash, grenade, V1, V2, and elemental multipliers to it. One thing that I would like to point out for this is that every Minesweeper grenade spawned by another grenade will double dip splash damage, grenade damage, V1 and V2 damage bonuses, which is a fuck ton. Now, thinking of all of this, the normal strategy that most people would probably think of for this would to maximize the damage of the Minesweeper grenades by maximizing the grenade damage. But this is not actually a very good idea, and here is why. So, the Minesweeper has a 25% chance to proc off of any crit. With 3 out of 3 points in Pull the Holy Pin, every grenade damage instance has a 30% chance to crit. Now, together, that means that your individual grenade, so if I were to throw, say, a fastball at an enemy, it would be around about a 7.5 chance for the fastball to proc both Pull the Holy Pin and the Minesweeper. To contextualize this ridiculously low number a little bit better, if I were to throw 100 fastballs at an enemy, only 7 of those would actually proc Mindsweeper. Now, you can remedy this by increasing the number of grenade damage instances per throw. Grenades such as the CMT can do this very effectively, as each throw of the grenade can cause up to 18 instances of grenade damage, or, if you were to use the Vindicator Ghast Call, 12 instances of grenade damage. Now, each individual instance of grenade damage still has that 7.5% chance to proc the Mindsweeper, but because you're doing multiple instances of grenade damage all at the same time, the effective chance of proccing Mindsweeper increases so that it's basically guaranteed that you're going to proc the Mindsweeper at least once per grenade thrown. Now, while the potential damage of using something like the fastball would be higher than the CMT, the effective damage of the fastball with the Mindsweeper is actually much lower than the effective damage of the CMT or Ghast Call with the same setup. One last thing of note is the fact that grenades spawned by the Mindsweeper also have a chance to proc Pull the Holy Pin, and then in turn the Mindsweeper. Of course, the chances of chains like this actually happening is very low, around about 0.5625% chance per instance of grenade damage. However, if you do manage to get this lucky, you can triple dip all of the damage bonuses applied to grenades, except for bonus elements, because those are impossible to double dip unless you're using Ties That Bind, and I don't know why, don't ask me, please. But the resulting micro grenades will still get Fire in the Skag Den, as well as all of those other elemental bonuses. While it is theoretically possible to chain Mindsweeper infinitely, the chances of actually being able to do so are so incredibly low, it's not even worth considering chains past 2 or 3. Alrighty then, that's the video. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, then please leave a like, and if you really enjoyed it, then please subscribe. Have a nice day, and I'll see you all later.